Welcome back. The board account voting system is the first example of a voting system we'll look at that takes voters' preferences beyond their first choice into account. Outside of this class, a board account refers to any points-based system in which voters submit preference ballots, which remember means that they list both their first choice, second choice, and maybe beyond. And candidates are given points based on how each voter ranked them on their ballot. The general idea is that each time a voter ranks candidate A as first choice, then candidate A gets maybe 10 points. And each time a voter lists candidate A as their second choice, maybe they get 8 points, and so forth. The point values vary from system to system. Point-based systems like this are used in some countries, like the island nations of Nauru and Kiribati, but they're also used widely in sports rankings, the AP and coaches polls for NCAA points, also for the Heisman ranking, and also for awards like the Oscars. We'll study a common version of this system that we're going to call the standard board account voting system. And here's the point system for the standard board account. If there are n candidates, then each voter's first choice is awarded n points. Second choice is awarded n minus 1 points. Third choice is awarded n minus 2 points, and so forth from there, down to the last choice, their nth choice, which is awarded just 1 point. So let's look at an example of what the ballot might look like if there were 4 candidates. Remember, in general, this is what a preference ballot looks like. You get to list your choices 1 through 4 if there are 4 candidates, 1 through n if there are n candidates. So let's suppose this voter ranked B first, D second, A third, and C fourth. Then when this ballot is counted, candidate B gets 4 points, candidate D gets 3 points, candidate A gets 2 points, and candidate C gets 1 point. So that's how things play out for just one ballot, but let's look at the results of an entire election. Remember that we record the results of a preference ballot election with what we call a preference schedule. So here is the same preference schedule we saw when we were learning about the plurality voting system. And just to remind you of what this means, we interpret that first column as meaning that 14 voters ranked A first, B second, and C third. The second column means that 1 voter ranked A first, C second, and B third, etc. So looking at this preference schedule, we could figure back out what would have happened with the plurality voting system. C got 17 first place votes, candidate A got 15, and candidate B got 10. So candidate C would have been the winner with the plurality voting system. However, if we're doing a board account, we need to tally the points. The easiest way to do this is to write down the points of each kind of ballot underneath each column. So each of the ballots in that first column, the voters who voted A, then B, then C, A should get 3 points for each of those 14 ballots. So under that column, I'll write 14 times 3. Same for the next column. Any voter who wrote A, then C, then B, they meant to give 3 points to candidate A. Well, only 1 voter voted that way, so I'll just say 1 times 3. Voters who submitted a ballot BAC wanted to give 2 points to A. 8 voters voted that way, so candidate A gets 8 times 2 points awarded to them. In the next column, voters rank the candidates BCA. A is last, so for each such ballot, A gets just 1 point. Same thing for the last column. And then we just add them all up. So to review, that first column, we wrote 14 times 3 because there were 14 ballots. Each one of them had A first, so A should get 3 points for each of those. Same thing for the second column. There was one ballot. A gets 3 points for it. The third column, A was ranked second, so for each of those 8 ballots, A gets 2 points. In each of the last 2 columns, A only gets 1 point per ballot, so 2 times 1 for the 2 ballots BCA, and 17 times 1 for the 17 ballots CBA. When we actually add these up, we find that candidate A got 80 points. And we can go through the exact same procedure for calculating the points for candidates B and C. For example, in that first column, there are 14 ballots. B gets 2 points each for them. In the second column, B was ranked last, so that for that one ballot, B only gets 1 point, etc. Skipping ahead to the results, we see that B got 93 points, candidate A got 80, and candidate C got 79. So the extended ranking given by the board account, the standard board account, would be the ranking B, then A, then C. Now the interesting thing here is this is actually the exact opposite order of what the plurality voting system would have given us. This sort of resulted from the fact that candidate B was a lot of voters' second choice, and so B got a lot of points because of that. Now it's not so relevant for this class, but there are a lot of variations on the standard board account, just ones that have different point systems. In particular for the Associated Press and Coaches polls for NCAA sports, which are used to rank college sports teams. The voting system is somewhat different, and by necessity. There are hundreds of college teams for a given sport, let's say football, and so it's not really practical to ask voters to rank all of these teams. And so instead, the voters are just asked to list their top 25 in order. Then the way the point system works is each voter's first choice is awarded 25 points. Each voter's second choice is awarded 24 points, etc. on down to the voter's 25th choice, which is awarded just 1 point, and then all of the others get no points from that ballot. One more really interesting one is the island nation of Nauru. In their voting system, voters can vote for as many candidates as they want, listing them in order. And then the point system is that each voter's first choice is awarded 1 point. Each voter's second choice is awarded a half a point. Each voter's third choice is awarded a third of a point, etc., down to however many people the voter voted for. So what are the advantages of points-based systems, these board account systems? Well, as we saw in the first example with the preference schedule, second choice counts for a lot. And this can lead to consensus candidates winning out over more polarizing candidates. Like the plurality voting system, though, this does have downsides, and we'll discuss some of those in the next video.